hold.
We're not gonna make it.
We'll make it.
Pull up! Pull up!
Hey you. Yeah, you in particular. Don't look away, because I'm here again to introduce you to some mods that really shake up Halo's already vast sandbox. I'm greedy. I always want new things in my Halo games, and if you're like me, then you're gonna get a fix today. Want a complete overhaul? Yeah, we got that. A custom campaign that brings Spartan Ops to Halo 3? Yep, that's here too. And what's this? Call of Duty in my Halo? Truly, the console wars have ended. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. Today we're going to take a look at 4 mods I found. When selecting these mods, I wanted a variety, some that shake up the whole gameplay loop, whilst also covering those that take a more restrained approach. Please enjoy this look into Halo mods I've fallen in love with recently.
Snammy ball. Remember, no.
For the first time on this channel, I've selected a mod for Halo 4, and what a mod to serve as the introduction. On the surface, it seems like a simple port of weapons from the Call of Duty Modern Warfare series, and honestly that in of itself would be a cool shake-up, but it's actually more than that. Whilst playing, I quickly discovered that you can't access Covenant weapons, which is weird, but I liked it. I like relying on human weaponry, and honestly, in Halo 4, from what I can remember, it felt like you barely got access to them in most missions. You gotta keep yourself looking for weapon caches to top up on ammo and switch weapons, which becomes a real treat when you discover a new weapon you haven't got a chance to use yet. Honestly, I think I filled my pants once I got my hands on the intervention and invited some cubbies to a 1v1 on Rust. Whilst weapons here aren't incredibly varied, playing around with the different attachments keeps your options plentiful, even if the amount of weapons available is pretty limited. You'll run through them all within about first 2 missions maybe? They introduce them as you go, but admittedly it'd be nice if there were more. The weapon models are beautiful, and ADS has been added for each weapon, which obviously wasn't a thing in Halo till Halo 5, and the sounds, though ripped straight from their respective games, sound great and feel incredibly satisfying to use. It's not just weapons that change, however. Both the UI and also animations have changed to better replicate the Call of Duty experience. You can't jump very high, and you're restricted to short bursts of sprinting, which definitely makes the game harder in my opinion. Throwing grenades has been given the animation from COD, which means you don't just throw them instantly, you actually have to time your throws. It's not as quick as you used to. All of this combines to create a more grounded experience. Is grounded the right word? I guess so. Basically, you're going to be fighting from cover to cover more, and gameplay is going to feel slower, which makes for a challenging experience. So far, only the first 3 levels are included in this mod, but it'd be really cool to see the whole campaign be incorporated with more weapons available. It sounds silly, and it's not technically like a testament to the mod's, quality, but it's been so long since I last played any of Halo 4 that it feels good to have a reason to go and enjoy it again. So, if you're like me, then I would recommend it just for that. I mean, it reminds me that, Halo 4 wasn't as bad as we all thought initially. Halo 5's greatest accomplishment was making Halo 4 not seem so bad after all. My only critique of this mod is the lack of kill streaks. I killed 7 elites, but when I didn't get my Harrier, I was crying, bro. How am I gonna get my AC-130 and then get my tactical nuke while camping in the corner of fucking favela?
This is blasphemy. This is madness! This is Atlas!
Halo Atlas is what I would call an overhaul that takes a lighter approach, as whilst it doesn't add new original content, so to speak, its focus is on fleshing out what is already available in Halo 3, revamping the visuals and the functions of already existing weapons, vehicles, and NPCs, mainly. You'll immediately notice weapons sound beefier, with weapons like the battle rifle being given their Halo 2 anniversary sounds, which, in my opinion, do sound nicer than Halo 3's, because it just kind of sounds like a bit of a wet lettuce in Halo 3. Weapons have been reskinned with models from more recent Halo entries. Well, god, recent might be stretching it a bit, to be honest. Halo 2 Anniversary was like more than 10 years ago. Plasma rifles have their Halo 2 Anniversary models. Sniper rifle has its Halo Reach model, and weirdly enough, the carbine has its Halo 4 model, or is it the Halo 5 one? I honestly don't know. It's not just weapons, NPCs have been given makeovers, mostly being replaced by Halo 2 Anniversary models, which look a lot nicer because they're more recent, and they mesh well with the Halo 3 engine, surprisingly. The Flood also, as well, have been given a bit more of an upgrade, with the infection forms feeling a lot more high definition. Is that weird? I feel like you can see more wrinkles on them than before, but it might just be the Halo 2 Anniversary models. These are just some examples, but it certainly feels cool to explore this mosh pit of Halo history, and also gives you an idea of what models the creator likes and the fresh experience they envisioned. Weapon changes aim to give weapons that felt a little weak in Halo 3 improvements so that they serve a purpose and become viable options, whereas before you may have avoided using them because they just weren't as good as other options available. Personally, the most notable changes were the assault rifle, which has been revamped into a slow rate of fire heavy-hitting rifle, feeling like the Gauss rifles Marines use in StarCraft. Both plasma rifles have been altered to focus on what made them unique, with the Elite's plasma rifle dealing more damage at a slower rate of fire, and the Brute variation being the complete opposite. Additionally, the Spiker now acts more like a Covenant SMG, with a higher rate of fire than any other Covenant weapon. Makes sense for a Brute weapon if you ask me. Imagine having a shit ton of spikes fired into you rapidly. It'd honestly fuck you up and you would feel horrific. Speaking of Brute weaponry, the Prowler's turret has been given red plasma, and also feels like it fires faster, which again fits well with the Brute theming, and I love that the Brute aesthetic and characteristics have been given more depth in this mod. There are small details for sure, but they're definitely appreciated, and they show a love for Halo, which I appreciate. As you well know at this point, I always bang on about it. Like Covenant weapons, vehicles and equipment have been given much more vibrant colours, especially the flagship purple that represents the Covenant, and I love seeing this because that's the Covenant I love. It very much reminded me of Halo Wars, because obviously to know which player you are, which faction, they had the really bright colours, and the Covenant have those bright purple colours from Halo Wars. And who cares if it seems a bit too cartoonish, to be honest? Is it unbelievable that a highly advanced alien army would be fabulous? I know I've likely missed a lot, but my gut is telling me to cover this mod because it really resonated with me. It's like playing with a fresh coat of paint, but you can also smell it through the screen and you just get high on the fumes. Perfection. It may seem like a simple reskin on the surface, but it's easy to see a lot of love has been put into this, and I only hope that there is more to come in the future, as currently only the Flood and the Ark are available to play, though I did see people talking about other levels in the comments of the Steam page, so I suspect that in previous versions other missions were available. I'd love to see further exploration of the Brutes and their technology as a faction within the Covenant, because despite them being the main fighting force of the Covenant in Halo 3, they don't feel as expansive as the Elites, so it's nice to see this being addressed. I'll definitely recover this mod in the future when there's more content to explore, but right now it definitely provides a fresh experience into Halo 3 without it being overwhelmingly new and just shit tons of stuff added. Which I can't say for the next one. I don't even know where to start with this one. Have you ever played Half-Life 2 and seen those mods that like make everything super HD and just add a bunch of random stuff into the game for no reason? Halo XAM, or ZAM, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, is a lot like that, but done well in my opinion. Just by the Steam page alone you can see how much it adds, but you've really got to experience it to understand what's new and how much of an impact it has. Firstly, the new weapons added are beautimous, all sounding incredible and looking really polished and nice, especially in Halo Combat Evolved's engine. The weapons feel really clunky to use, and it's really satisfying blowing away hordes of enemies, especially with the new gore that's been added into the game. No longer do enemies simply collapse into a death pose, no. You'll see limbs blown off, chunks of enemies evaporate, and clouds of blood lowering your bitrate, all whilst the barrel of your gun smokes waiting for you to just take a puff. You'll be using iconic weapons like the M60, Uzi, Scar H, and even weapons from the later games and other franchises as a whole. You know how I always bang on and compare mods to Half-Life and talk about it just all the time? Well, imagine my surprise when I find the MP5 from Half-Life 1 and MP7 from Half-Life 2. I'm seriously impressed by how polished the weapons are, most being real-world weapons brought into the game. Their animations are mostly good, with a little wonk here and there with some of the reload animations, but nothing that ruins your game immersion, and frankly, they're all really fucking powerful. Balance isn't something I paid attention to, because I believe the whole idea of this mod is to really make you feel like an unstoppable killer machine. So, it didn't feel right to judge it based on that, because that's not what the experience was intended from my eyes. Well, you'll definitely feel unstoppable until you reach a certain level. My only criticism on the weapon front is that the modder has added like ADS for each weapon, well, the human weapons, but it's pretty much a zoom in of the screen with a PNG of like iron sights of the scope on the screen, which I get that the mod was what the mod creator was going for, given the realism approach and weapons available, but it doesn't really feel that good in my opinion, and I didn't find myself using it much. In fact, I tried my best not to. Though, admittedly, the new C4 and throwing knives reminded me of my Modern Warfare 2 glory days, and that is enough to make me forgive this. It's not just weapons added into this mod either. New vehicles and changes to levels are scattered throughout. It's like, instead of using a Warthog to rescue the Marines in Halo, you're now given an Apache attack helicopter to play air support for them. It's wonky, it doesn't control like a helicopter, but it's fun and silly, so you just not really care about that. Spirit dropships can now be destroyed, which makes holdout sections feel more varied than before, though I would be careful doing this because it can sometimes bug your game, but I found that you can resolve this by just leaving the area and then coming back. It's a bit clunky, but it doesn't completely soft lock you from what I've found. Also, new enemies have been added into the game, like the Vortigaunts from Half-Life, I almost said Halo Life then, which doesn't make any sense, but really what does in this mod, if I'm honest. That's what makes it so great. Though, the Flood have been changed massively. No longer do they carry weapons, no. They'll only use melee, but to compensate for this, they're much bulkier, and in my opinion that makes them far creepier. Their models have been updated to display more gore, and the sounds they make are haunting. It's like the last dregs of sentience the victims have as they moan in pain, which is a really cool idea, and I think really makes sense for the Flood. 343 Guilty Spark and the Library are much different in this mod, with the Library actually being a fun endurance run, where you're picking up different weapons on the go because you have limited ammo, and you're just getting absolutely bomb rushed by hordes of Flood. It's definitely a lot more enjoyable than vanilla Library, and 343 Guilty Spark becomes a fucking horror experience. I won't spoil it for you, but I seriously got spooked a few times playing these levels with the new Flood, especially 343 Guilty Spark. That mission has become just truly perfect in this mod. Graphics have also been improved a lot in Halo XAM. Bullet-based weapons leave smoke trails, and plasma-based weapon projectiles emit light as they travel, and they look a lot more detailed. Like, their impact's a lot more scorched than before. It's like a new breath of life has been given to Halo's visuals, without taking it too far that it's unrecognizable. The graphics still feel of that era, which is really fucking cool if I'm honest. It's the small details that stack too to make this a special experience. Some weapons drop their mags after reloading, vegetation has been made more dense to bring environments alive, shotguns push you back after firing due to the recoil, ambient sounds have been included a lot more to immerse you into the situations you're in. I think that's the best thing I can say about this mod. Despite its chaotic nature, Halo XAM feels alive. Its mod creator had a vision, and damn did they execute it well, and I really hope you go and experience it for yourselves.
You're crying in the rain, Pally.
Guess who's waking up over here?
You've made your last delivery, kid. Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
Okay, so this one technically doesn't fit with the theme of this video, but stick with me because it piques my curiosity that much that I knew I had to at least try it. What I discovered is one of my favorite custom campaigns I've ever played. It's essentially Halo 4's Spartan Ops ported into Halo 3. Interestingly though, and I find it hard to describe, but it's like having Halo 3's gameplay with Halo 4's storytelling and sandbox mixed in. Let me try and break it down for you a little and explain what I mean. Consisting of 4 missions, Echo Ops isn't a long campaign, with each mission containing mainly one objective, but there's still varied gameplay experiences which I feel stays true to the Spartan Ops experience. There's also custom voice acting for a few characters, with the main voice you'll hear being that of the accompanying AI you have. It made this experience feel more official, which I respect, and I appreciate the effort that went into it. They really could have just used AI voices for it, and they didn't. Speaking of audio, the modder's use of pre-existing and non-Halo soundtracks is very commendable. I can't say there was a moment where the music felt out of place. Instead, it helped set the mood for both the quieter, inquisitive moments, as well as the intense combat sequences. In terms of map design, this mod uses completely new maps, rather than how in Halo 4 Spartan Ops, it would use pre-existing campaign maps. Not to mention, these maps are really well thought out and detailed. They maintain Halo's connected map layout. You never feel like you've been teleported to some completely different location, or you're moving in just one linear way. You're exploring a location and progressing both horizontally and vertically. My favourite section is where you're moving up cliffside rapids with a squad of Marines. To be honest, I love the entire forest section. It was so pleasing to play through and reminded me of Uprising from Halo 2, which is always going to win me over. I couldn't give a fair recommendation without discussing some negatives though. The second mission has you travelling through a Forerunner structure, which I didn't enjoy very much. It was cool to see the Halo Combat Evolved Bridge Chamber from the second mission Halo show up, but it lacked the unique design the outside sections have and felt bland in comparison. Plus I got lost because one of the crawlers got stuck I think, but that's not really that big of a deal, it happens. Enemies in this campaign are quite expansive, with Halo 4's roster of Prometheans being ported into Halo 3's engine. Covenant also seen expansion, with skirmishers from Halo Reach making an appearance. I'm always impressed with how seamlessly newer additions to the series added into the older games. It feels like they are meant to be in Halo 3. Speaking of the Covenant, many have been given their Halo 4 models, given that the campaign is meant to take place around the events of Halo 4. It's a neat touch, and even if personally I'm not the biggest fan of the Storm Covenant models, I can appreciate wanting the chronological accuracy of the storytelling, rather than just putting in whatever looks best because it looks nicer. Did that even make sense? Basically, it makes the mod feel authentic to the time it's set in, and I really appreciate that. Now, let's talk about what ties this mod to the overall theme of the video, the sandbox. Already existing weapons in Halo 3's sandbox have been given new coats of paint to reflect the time period, much like the enemies you face too. You'll also find familiar weapons from across the series like Halo Reach's Needler Rifle, based, and Halo 4's Storm Rifle, less based, and of course the Promethean arsenal. Whilst the Promethean weapons don't all work like the Halo 4 versions, such as the bolt shot not having its shotgun mode, I find them uniquely charming, and it feels adjustments have been made to compensate for the technical limitations due to an older engine. It's very much Halo 4 and Halo 3's engine, as I said earlier. The modder has done an excellent job capturing that feeling, which I imagine is because they like Spartan Ops, but not Halo 4's engine or just Halo 4. So if you want to experience Halo's vast arsenal, in what many consider to be the best Halo game, this is your mod. Alright, I'm gonna get a bit spoilery here, but there's a section I feel is very important to mention. But I also think it's better to experience this mod fresh, so skip to the timestamp on screen if you want a completely fresh experience. Alright, let's get into it. Echo Ops has a space combat section straight out of Halo Reach in its final mission, which was insane to experience without knowing it was going to be there. You get to fly a broadsword and fight against Space Banshees, Seraphs, and Space Phantoms. It was here I realised just how much Echo Ops understands the good that was in Spartan Ops and its potential as a different means of providing campaign. Each mission gives you a different feeling and gameplay experience entirely. Like how in the first mission there's a holdout section with allies, then in the second mission you're on your own. Across the missions you're put into open and closed spaces, long range and short range combat encounters, and by the end of the campaign you're fucking in space. Yet it all feels well connected, never feeling like we've jumped in between places, missing a lot of what has happened in between. It's never jumps in time or anything like that. You stay consistent, you know what's happening because you've been taken through all of it, which I really like personally. You're not going to get bored playing this, and that's massive. That's a massive thing for me personally. I don't like doing the same thing over and over again across an entire campaign. You back with us? Good to have you back. To sum it up neatly, Echo Ops is an ambitious recreation of the Spartan Ops experience in Halo 3. Its story is simple but enjoyable, sandbox is varied for each encounter, and the encounters themselves always present unique combat engagements, and most of all, it's had care and lots of effort put into it. I couldn't ignore this one. It feels underrated, and I believe it has a lot of great potential, so I hope the hinted continuation at the end of the campaign comes true. I honestly hadn't even thought about Spartan Ops for the last decade till I played this mod, and it almost makes me want to go back, though I think I'd just rather replay this instead. I honestly can't give my, praise. I can't come up with the words that would praise this mod's environmental design and map design well enough. The whole section where you're in the outdoors, so the beginning of the first mission, the third mission, you know, they're really fucking good, really good. I'm even going off script here if you can't tell, but it feels real, it feels like an official Bungie design, and it's also just really beautiful and enchanting. I would love to see more of this in the future, especially exploring installations maybe, because I want to like it. I know I said I didn't like it, the second mission, which it was just because it was copied and pasted from the actual Combat Evolved campaign. Anyway, that was Halo Echo Ops. This was just a look at some of the mods I think play around with Halo's sandbox very well, and as always, I really hope you'll check them out. Honestly, mods like Echo Ops and Halo XAM could have their own videos made about them because of how expansive they are and all the small and big details that I've missed in this video that I want you to go and experience. I wanted to make a spotlight video instead of a single review because I want smaller mods to also get their time to shine, like Halo Atlas and Halo 4 Modern Warfare. These videos are only ever recommendations based on my own experiences, my own opinions, and what I like to see out of Halo. So I think it's valuable for everyone to try them and share their thoughts and feelings. After all, what is a mod without its community, and what is a community without its mod? As always, thank you for watching. I know it's been more than 2 months since my last video, which is honestly abysmal. I can't apologize enough. But going forward, that shouldn't be an issue anymore. I'm so grateful for all the positivity I've been given and support. It motivates me to keep learning, developing, and producing higher quality videos where I can. If there's anything specific you want to see going forward, then feel free to let me know in the comments. I'm happy to cover specific mods you want to see, different games, or whatever. But I'll likely keep making videos like this because that's what I enjoy the most. Until next time, I'll see you all later.